I'm going to hand over to Stephen, who's going to introduce his amazing speakers. I think you all know Stephen. Does he need an introduction? Stephen, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in on the second of our series of Discover Tobago presentations. Today I've got 3/4 amazing guests, exciting guests for you. As Sarah's already indicated, this is an adventure day. So yes, I will start by sharing my screen and getting the presentation up so you can all see our amazing guests. Let me get that. There we go. And lovely. Oops, that's not the screen I want to share. There we go. Wonderful. Hopefully you can all see this. So yes, today I have some wonderful guests. I have Eamon and Manuela from Tobago Mountain Bike Tours. And they're going to take you on a voyage of discovery with regards to mountain biking and trekking around Tobago. Then we have Brett Kenny from Radical Sports. And for those who have any guests interested in those fantastic, wonderful, vibrant water sports, we have them all available down, particularly in this a small, beautiful area in the southwest of Tobago, which Brett will elaborate on as the presentation proceeds. And then finally, we have Kay Trotman from Native Abode, a beautiful bed and breakfast property, but she's also president of Tobago's unique bed and breakfast and self-catering association. So she will give you a lowdown on some of the smaller properties around our beautiful island, as well as some of the wonderful attractions and excursions you can enjoy in Tobago. So without further ado, I'm going to start off by giving you a little bit of an update on protocols. Now, if any of you guys joined us for last month's presentations, I will add that the protocols haven't changed that drastically since last month, so I will skirt through them or just give you a quick overview on the protocols. Let me just do something here and get a little laser pointer up just to help things along, and we shall begin. I beg your pardon, sorry. The first thing I'm going to do, although today's presentation is about adventure, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a taster of what Tobago is pretty much all about: authentic Caribbean, unspoilt, untouched, and undiscovered.
It's only when I go abroad and I see what is out there and I come back and I measure against what is here. There is no comparison to beauty.
Some writings of our history, it is said that Christopher Columbus called it Bella Fauna, meaning beautifully formed.
Natural, beautiful, peaceful. Yes, I get emotional. That's why I'm here.
One of the fascinating things about nature, there is always something new, and especially in the tropics where there's such wide diversity, persons can experience and have the awe associated with some of the beaches we have, aquatic life we have, some of the fascinating birds we have within a day, within a short period of time.
You have the Caribbean Sea on one side, you have the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. On our doorstep, a fringe reef that wraps around the entire area. You have this huge amount of biodiversity and liveliness of the entire water that surrounds the island. We also do bioluminescent nighttime tours, which are like an escape into the deep, dark secrets of this, glowing phenomenon. It's like this almost cosmic effect. It's just something to be seen.
I know everybody in the village, and everybody know me. That is the nice thing about here.
Tobago is used to the extended family. There was always a grandmother, aunt, uncle. There was always love.
We eat and we drink, we laugh, and everything together.
Tobago, in one word to me, beautiful. Beautiful place to live.
It gives me great pleasure to be in Tobago and do what I do.
The sunsets here are hardly bar none, some of the nicest I've seen.
I would describe Tobago of one of the clean, serene, and the best place that anyone could come. Be easy, be happy, and have a good time. There is nothing to compare to.
This little dot called Tobago exists, and come visit.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I get giddy every time I watch that video, and I just want to come visit, and hopefully that's given you all the vibe and the feeling that you do want to come visit, or at least send your customers and your guests. So just a little brief introduction to Tobago. We are part of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We're positioned right at the very bottom of the crest of Caribbean islands, as you can see here, very close to South America, but as you can see, very close to these southern Caribbean islands. We do actually sit underneath the hurricane belt. We don't get troubled by them on an annual basis. So we are pretty much a year-round destination. Average temperatures are approximately 30 degrees, so it's pretty warm year-round. And, you know, we only have 2 distinct seasons. We have the dry season, which is approximately December all the way through to May, June, and then from June around to November time is classed as the wet season. But as any of you guys who've been to the Caribbean or sold the Caribbean know, it's short, heavy showers. We don't have a monsoon season or anything like that. So pretty much inviting, depending on what you want to do. But we are right down here at the very bottom of the crest of Caribbean islands. Now, protocols, that's a key question in today's environment. How you can get to the island, whether or not you can actually go to the islands. Now, the borders are open. Technically speaking, the borders are open, so people can actually go to Trinidad and Tobago. Obviously, my focus is very much on Tobago. So with regards to customers, with regards to tourism, they must be double vaxxed. They must be completely vaccinated. And they must have a negative PCR test before arrival. But as a destination from the UK market, we are currently on the red list. So, you know, you're not sending anybody right this very second to Tobago. So, but the borders are technically speaking open. You can actually go there. There are procedures to follow. First of all, as I've just said, you do need to be double vaxxed, and they do have to have a negative PCR test. And they also, all visitors must complete the T-Travel Pass, which is a digital online pass, which basically just highlights when they've had their vaccinations and where they're staying, how long they're staying, all those sort of things. So that all has to be completed in advance. All this information, though, and the most up-to-date information can be found at www.tobagobeyond.com. And at the very top of that page, there's a travel advisory update. So for the most up-to-date information, please write that down, take a screen grab right now, so you can have that link and know to go right at the very top. There's a little link saying travel advisory update. So yes, that's where you go to get the most up-to-date information, but those are the 2 procedures. Sort yourself out before you depart, and also fill in a travel pass and get that approved before you can actually travel to Tobago. The other key question I've been asked a few times by travel agents is because obviously you need to have a negative PCR to return to the country that you're returning to. And this information I got a few weeks ago, so whether the costing has changed, I don't know, but a few weeks ago I was told that we already had 3 private labs based within Tobago. So acquiring your negative PCR tests before you depart is very, very easy now. Well, there may be more than 3 labs now, and the cost may be more, cheaper now. But you know, we are moving in the right direction with regards to that. Once we're off the red list of most destinations, British Airways and Virgin have both confirmed that they will be returning to Tobago on their scheduled direct service. British Airways from Gatwick twice a week year-round, and Virgin Atlantic out of Heathrow twice a week over the winter months and once a week over the summer months. Both of those services touch down in Antigua. Passengers do not disembark, stay on the aircraft, and then fly onwards onto Tobago. The alternative is British Airways will restart a direct service to Port of Spain, Trinidad 5 times a week. And then, of course, you can connect down with Caribbean Airways. So there's always a way of getting to Tobago, either on one of the direct services or via Trinidad. Speaking about airports, this is some really exciting news that came in earlier on this year. It was all approved, and it's all up and running at the present in time with regards to a new airport terminal, which will bring Tobago into the modern world of airport terminals. If you've ever been to Tobago before, seen images of the airport, it is quaint, it is small, and this is really exciting news for us. It's scheduled to be completed the end of next year, so there's ongoing works with regards to the terminal, but that's a nice, new, exciting facility for visitors coming to Tobago. And finally, my little section will end with regards to just a brief description and a brief journey around Tobago. To introduce the guests, we have got, who's going to be first? It's going to be Eamon from the Tobago Mountain Bike Tours. They're positioned here, but they're going to be talking about tours encompassing the whole of Tobago. Then you'll have Brett, who's positioned at Pigeon Point down here for his radical sports activities down here. One little thing I will point out is this little area here, which you might have picked up on the video, which I just played a few minutes ago. This is actually the Bonaccord Lagoon, and Brett will elaborate on the beauty that is available within the Bonaccord Lagoon during his presentation. And then we have Kay from a native abode, which is positioned approximately here. And again, she will be talking about properties, smaller, more boutique experiences around the whole of the island, not just the southern western area, as well as excursions into and around the island. Now, one thing I'm going to point out, because this is the really new, exciting news for Tobago. This was an award, the UNESCO Man and Biosphere designation, which was awarded to Tobago last summer, and it incorporates three main factors, three main areas. If I point to Castara Bay, Pilot Touvier over here, Charlottesville, Speyside, all these beautiful, small, authentic Caribbean, unspoilt Caribbean villages, and the research and conservation efforts taking part in those villages. I'll point out Charlottesville here, this area here, where they have got coral preservation and research facilities and a replanting program for coral up here, and the Main Ridge Forest Reserve here, the oldest protected rainforest in the Western Hemisphere. Those three elements come together and combine to give us the UNESCO Man and Biosphere designation, village life and the things doing with regards to the village, the coral preservation, and the preservation of our rainforests. So yes, green, lush, very, very, very safe. Other things I want to point out are beaches along this area here, which I'm pointing to now, which are pretty much the turtle nesting areas for Tobago. In fact, turtles, from what I gather, do nest all along this northern Caribbean coast. But you can particularly see them down in the southern western area here, because we have a few properties down there where you can experience that. We've got waterfalls, which you can easily accessible waterfalls, I should rephrase, which you can explore, your visitors can explore throughout Tobago, which is again very natural, very, very beautiful. And of course, with regards to the rainforest, fantastic for nature trails, for bird watching, and as Eamon will elaborate on, also for biking experience as well. Divers can enjoy this northern area, this eastern area, and areas around this southern western area here for fantastic dive sites. And the final thing I'm going to point out are these blue flags. Now, some of you guys already represent, or have already sold destinations or know about Blue Flag. Now, Tobago has three beaches, two on the Caribbean coast, the one on the Atlantic coast, Kings Bay is down here, which have Blue Flag pilot status, which is the one stage away from full Blue Flag status, which for such a small little island, 25 by 7, is absolutely amazing. So yes, that's a small, short, quick little journey around Tobago. If you've got any questions with regards to that, please put them in the comments area, and we'll come to them later on in the presentation. Oh, so other thing that was highlighted there, I beg your pardon, sorry. We did advertise that Blue Waters Inn, who are positioned up here, would be part of this presentation. Unfortunately, last minute they had to pull out due to technical reasons. So unfortunately, we don't have Blue Waters, but they are positioned up here in a beautiful, quiet, remote area called Speyside. But we do have three fantastic guests, and without further ado, I'd like to introduce the first guest, and that is Eamon and Manuela from Tobago Mountain Bike Tours, and he's going to elaborate on the fantastic mountain biking experiences that you can have in Tobago. And you can actually, before I flipped over to the next slide, you can actually hear some birds in the background. So he's live from Tobago. It's a fantastic experience. So here you go. Over to you, Eamon. Thank you.
Good day, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Eamon Healy Singh. I was born in Trinidad, but I've lived in Tobago nearly 30 years, riding bikes, surfing, doing conservation work with turtles, etc. Yeah, I just want to say Tobago is such an ideal place for mountain biking because we have quite a flat area in the south, which is gentle for beginners and family-orientated tours, which is most of the demand for bike tours. And then we have really beautiful landscape, mountainous regions with waterfalls, as Stephen was saying, and beautiful beaches to explore for more experienced riders. So we really have a little bit of everything available on this fabulous island. In that first slide, that's a lovely shot from our event, but I'll move on to the next slide, Stephen, please. Thank you. So in this shot, it's in the southern part of Tobago where it is quite flat. There's a Dutch mill in the background of that that's been overgrown by a ficus tree. This was a mixed group, a couple Canadians, an English guy, an American. And the tours are basically sightseeing and starting and stopping at points of interest. So not necessarily a big sweaty exercise mission, although there'll be a lot of sweat. And this is sort of for people who may not be cyclists per se, but can ride a bike and are interested in getting off the beaten path a bit to get into the cultural aspects of the island, which are off of the road. So this is a lovely historical part here. There are lots of old mills like this around Tobago. This one was built in the 1660s. And the island changed its hands over 30 times. So it's quite a turbulent history. Very interesting if you're interested in that sort of thing. As I say, move to the next slide there, Stephen. Thank you. So we offer a lot of family-based tours down on the flat end of the island. And I have the option with smaller kids' bikes. And for people who want an e-bike, who may not want to pedal all the way, I do have a couple of e-bikes. This is an ideal way for a family to understand the culture of Tobago, see where people live, see where they fish, the quiet beaches, the little bays, the interesting little nooks and crannies that are just not on the tourist maps. So with a bicycle, you can really access these fantastic spots. This particular photograph is on the southeast corner of the island, pretty near the Petit Trou Lagoon. And this one is a mix of two different families I brought out. They're from Trinidad. Right, let's see. We'll move on to the next slide there, Stephen. Okay, so the more intermediate tours for people who ride a bit certainly are, I'm just going to follow the screenshots there. These are for more people who are accustomed to riding a bit in their home countries, or they may even bring their bikes on holiday here. I have sufficient bikes here, but with these, you can get a real intimate sense of the countryside by visiting these waterfalls that are not even on the maps. There are little bays that even people in Tobago may not be familiar with Little Bay or Celery Bay or Back Bay. And so the ability for the bikes to get to these areas on the single tracks and on the old estate roads it's perfect for exploration. And well, a lovely swim can be had at a beach or a waterfall. But this is a more sort of intermediate sort of level. Most of the tours that I do are on the flat side of Tobago, which are more beginner friendly. That's where most of the market is. But these, for people who are specifically interested in intermediate and expert tours, Tobago is perfect. I've worked as a bike guide in other islands, and I tell you, there's very few places as beautiful as Tobago to visit on a bicycle. Let's see, we'll go to the next slide there, Stephen. So this is more, again, advanced and intermediate stuff. These are some hilltops in the south of Tobago, just at the point where the uplands begin in the Les Coteaux Arnas Vale area. This clip is actually, I'm taking an English guy riding around. He was looking for some adrenaline, and I was able to take him on these trails, and he was very happy. Not many people are coming for this type of tour, but we do offer this as well. So it certainly has the mild to the wild possible in Tobago in terms of the bike. So even if you've just done a bit of riding in your life or had a bike as a kid, you'll be fine to do a beginner's tour. And if you maybe ride to work wherever you live and you have a basic fitness, you could do the intermediate, as some of these pictures would show. Next slide there, Stephen. Lovely. Now we offer tours that are longer than 3 hours, which are the first beginner's tour, and my intermediate stuff is only a 3-hour tour. But this tour is a 4-day affair. It's a riding holiday where we use the bicycle to get from the south all the way up to Charlottesville, and not all on the road. We're going to ride through a lot of old estates on the way, and this takes the monotony of the asphalt and the traffic and whatever away. And the fabulous island can then be seen, you know, through mountaintop views, and again, lots of bays and waterfalls. And that up in Charlottesville, we offer hiking and snorkeling and kayaking, together with sort of yoga and breathing sessions in the morning in a sort of an all-inclusive package. They can be tailored to suit if people would like to ride more, or they'd like to do more hiking while they're there. Maybe they're fed up sitting on a bike seat for that ride up to Charlottesville. So we can tailor the tours to suit. Not so kid-friendly up in the north because it's quite hilly, but certainly very possible for them to travel in a vehicle and maybe do the hikes and join in with the accommodation. This picture is of a group that I took earlier in the year. Some of them are from Trinidad, some of them are from Tobago. And anyway, let's move on there, Stephen, to the next. Okay, this is a shot of my friend Pigeon. He's a local guy. And my buddy Richie and a fella from Slovenia who came to ride the race. The young boy at the bottom of the picture there is a local fella who was absolutely delighted to be part of the race. And we have this event that we usually have in May. We unfortunately didn't have it in 2020. But May Mountain Bike Madness is a enduro and a cross-country race for kids and adults alike. And we have that in the Arnas Vale area, and it's bringing together a lot of international people, Trinidadians and people from Tobago who are just getting into the sport, as is my friend Pigeon and the young fella on the left there. So quite an international flair to this. It will be our 4th year running next year when we do it. As I say, we missed out in 2020 due to the COVID, but we're back on stream with that, and we have our sponsors in place. The idea I got from riding these mountains, I realized we had a world-class course, which was as good as anywhere I'd ever ridden before in Canada, in America, in Switzerland. I thought, wow, Tobago has the potential to be a dream location for an event, not just riding, but an event. So this clip is really from the day after we had our race in 2019. And it's a good way for people to come to the island and meet people locally who have similar interests, i.e. the bikes. So we bring together the world at our event, and it's been fantastic so far, and we look forward to 2021. Let's see. So you can run to the video there if you like, Stephen, and I can take some questions after. The video is roughly about our race, our event, which has become quite a hit, and our participation grows exponentially.
Very good.
Well,
Thank you, Stephen.
that was fantastic, guys. Absolutely fantastic. Eamon, that was wicked. That was it. Yeah, you've opened my eyes now. And for all you agents who are prospective fan trip agents, look out for the itinerary. It might have some mountain biking added to the itinerary now. Going forward. I promise you, not the advanced stuff. We'll do it nice and gentle. Get some of the nice flat stuff for you. But yeah, I'll definitely think about adding some of that. That was wonderful, really cool. So Sarah, do we have any questions for Eamon?
We've got one coming in from Chanel, and she's asked, as agents, where can we book the mountain bike tours for clients?
Well, tobagomountainbike.com is my website. I'm also on Facebook, Tobago Mountain Bike Tours, and Instagram. I'm fairly easy to reach. My lovely assistant, Manuela, deals with all the technical computer stuff, and I do more the hands-on riding in the bush stuff.
Okay.
There is a registration form for tours on the website, so you can book, and everything is lined up there. You can see that quite easily.
Brilliant. I've just got a message that's coming on chat as well. What is the duration for the rides?
Good morning, Simon. The duration for the ride for beginners is about 2.5 to 3 hours. But remember, it's not all riding for a beginner's tour. There's a lot of stopping and starting at points of interest, and eat a bit of fruit, drink some water, admire a view, look at a cave. I tell you a bit about history, and then we're on the bike for another short bit to stop and talk again. So the duration may be 2.5 hours, but the actual pedal time may be only about 40 minutes for the beginners.
Super, makes sense to me.
Yep, excellent.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That's the end of the questions. I'm sure if we have any further towards the end, as people think on, then we'll let you know. But thank you. Thank you very much, Eamon.
Thank you.
Eamon, thank you very much. And thank you, Sarah. That was brilliant. Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now have, I will now like to introduce you to Brett, who Brett Kenny, who's from Radical Sports.
Hey guys.
Based down in Pigeon Point, and he will tell you all about the fantastic water sports and some interesting land sports available in Tobago. Okay, over to you. Oops, I beg your pardon. There's a thank you there from Eamon. Sorry, that last slide. Over to you, Brett.
Hey guys, good morning. Can everybody hear me well?
Yep, coming through loud and clear.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. You can go to the next slide. Welcome to Pigeon Point Heritage Park. It's kind of one of the many jewels that Tobago has. That's a lovely picture of our building, which reminds me I need some fresh paint, but I think we look okay. Radical Sports is kind of, the name might, take you back to the 70s or 80s where these, crazy sports were coming together and had crazy names. But we have everything from an entry-level child kind of ready sport to, the advanced levels. And we host windsurfing clinics from a lot of UK tour operators here with professional athletes that come down every year. We also have some out of the German market as well too. But we kind of have kind of fun outdoor, and by definition in these times, socially distanced exercise related fields which embrace fresh Caribbean breeze, air, warm weather, and fun. While, getting the heartbeat going a little bit for those who are interested, and for those who want to just relax, there's lovely stand-up paddling and kayaking and of course nighttime adventures, which we'll get into in just a little bit. So let's take the next slide there, Steve. Right. So windsurfing is kind of probably our biggest, kind of endeavor in terms of having a lot of inventory. It's a kind of sport which, lends to all the different genres, whether you like flat water, which is what Tobago is really famous for. We're not the gale force windiest destination in the world. We're kind of that intermediate range where maybe uncomfortable for somebody who's lying on the beach and doesn't want any breeze, but not to the point where you think you're in a hurricane. And we have lovely kind of flat water and also shallow water conditions, which kind of make it a little bit more easy and relaxing for people to kind of enjoy. We also have more advanced conditions as well for those who want to get out and venture into the waves. But a lot of what we do is kind of entry level, and it's one of the nice things where within an hour you can learn something brand new, you can feel or earn the sleep that you're going to enjoy that later in the evening, but also see a sense of fun and not have a lot of people kind of looking at you and critiquing you, which is one of the beautiful things about Tobago, is that it's not necessarily the crowded destination in the world. So you can kind of relax into the experience and, and really enjoy something that's just, different and lots of fun. So we'll hit the next slide. All right, so stand-up paddleboarding. So, we just talked a little bit about the wind, and the wind is not necessarily the best friend for stand-up paddleboarding. But there is a beautiful, kind of southern side of Pigeon Point that goes all the way towards Storby. And you have this, very picturesque, beautiful coconut plantation with, nothing in sight, but just lovely sandy beaches and flat water where you can often see turtles and stingrays and lots of little fish, and just have a gentle paddle outside of the wind. And it's really something that is very entry level. We have very big boards which allow everybody up to 300 plus pounds, all the way down to kids who can jump on daddy's board or mommy's board, or even get a board of their own and kind of stand up and experience something that's just quiet and all encompassing, and it's just really something very entry level and very holistic and lovely. And Tobago is one of the most picturesque places, and right here on the other side of where we have our shop is a lovely playground to go and have some fun. The next slide there, Steve. So kite surfing. Kite surfing is one of the first sports that I gravitated towards. People think that it's this very aggressive thing, which it can be, that allows you to fly to 30, 40 feet high and do all kinds of, acrobatics. But you can also do very entry level stuff, because it's one of the sports that does require a little bit of time to kind of to get into. So you would have to give yourself a couple of days, if, better yet, even 1 week, to kind of, get up and get riding. And we don't kind of sacrifice a lot of safety. So, you have to wear, full impact vests and helmets, and you are operated by a licensed international kiteboarding organization instructor who basically will guide you through the process. And it's definitely humbling at the beginning, but it's full of adrenaline excitement. So for those a little bit more adventure seekers, it's definitely one of the things that that a lot of people look up and just say, I want to do that, and they think, well, I can't do that. But my youngest student has been 75 years old, and my oldest student has been 6 years old. I have that obviously in reverse, but basically, there's no kind of age or kind of physical. Once your mind can get around the idea of doing it, we have all the gear to get you up and get you riding and having fun. So definitely something that you can also even try out for 2 hours and see if it's something that grabs you. You don't necessarily have to commit to a 3-day or 5-day course, but very much similar to like PADI and scuba diving in that sense, where you have to go through all the safety steps on the way to the fun and eventually end up on the podium that is the Olympics maybe one day. But a lot of fun, definitely, something that we're happy to have in our arsenal of fun. So let's get the next slide going there, Stephen. Sailing. So, one of the beautiful things about a lot of the things that you're going to see in this presentation, guys, is that we are very much in touch with nature, and you are using a lot of muscle power and the rest we're filling in by the beautiful kind of trade winds that flow in for, you know, about 8 months of the year, that we get these lovely trade winds that kind of give us this gentle breeze that can take us. And where we're situated is the Bucca Reef Marine Park, which is this, as you can see in the picture, this almost nylon poolish turquoise water, which Tobago is definitely famous for. Sailing is just another example. Although you see me on one pontoon there, a lot of the times we're just kind of, you know, going at a very relaxed pace. And sailing is one of the things that you can learn just like windsurfing just in 1 hour, where you're actually going to be within 15 minutes already piloting the vessel. We have a Hobie catamaran in this picture here, and very, you know, entry-level sailboat, very difficult to tip over in the conditions that we have, but we go through all of these safety parameters before we get up and go. And for those of you who would love to sail but would prefer actually not to be the one in control of the steering wheel or the helm, we do have lovely turtle safaris where we use the same boat in the same area, and we go out, we learn a little bit about sailing, but we look at the 2 species of turtles that we see right there in that area. And you know, it's not uncommon to see anywhere between 12 and 20 little, you know, heads that will pop up and say hi while they grab some of the fresh air that we get to enjoy all the time, and run away from us because they like that quiet water. But it's just definitely something that is lovely to take in, where we're in their environment, not necessarily the opposite way around, and we kind of navigate through these waters and you know, have this kind of symbiotic fun that the turtles and sailing and wind provide in this lovely marine park. So we'll click over to the next slide, Stephen. And kid, you know, I really wanted to put this slide in there because we've been doing a lot of kid-friendly adventures. And for those of you like parents out there who were kind of like, well, I would like to do a lot of stuff, but, you know, can my kids participate? We have special programs that we've been running for years for kids in, you know, half term, in Easter breaks, in summertime, in any time. You know, everything from the same, you know, kayaking and stand-up paddling and even kite surfing. And right here in the middle, you can see some kids on a little board. It's kind of simulated wakeboarding, where we pull them around and they have lots of fun. And we take them to kind of quieter areas. But as you can see, I think all of them look super bored. I think they're, you know, just bored that they had to take a picture. They don't want to spend any time on land. And that's kind of the allure of what Tobago and what Bucca Reef and what Radical Sports provides is, you know, all the fun is out there on the ocean. And, you know, we all have life jackets, as you can see. So even if they're not great swimmers, we can still kind of, you know, put something together so they can have a lot of fun. Anywhere from, you know, age kind of 5 or 6 years old, all the way up to, you know, the older kids in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, we can kind of put something together. So, I mean, I am definitely, you know, 40-something years old, but I'm probably feel that I'm younger than these kids that are in these pictures here. And that's what water sports and, you know, sports in general provide is a, you know, forever young feeling that you get when you've completed them, and the yearn to get back out there the next day or the next afternoon or the next minute, you know. But we got to get your brains all relaxed and sleep so you can like have these amazing dreams about what you're going to do the next day in Tobago. So let's click to the next one there, Stephen. And yeah, so we talked a little bit about the clinics that we have, and we do have clinics that start for those who might already be into windsurfing. So we have Gem Hall and Peter Hart that start their clinics in January the 23rd, and we'll be running clinics actually all the way until the 24th of March. And so we're super excited this year to even add more clinics than we had before. You know, in that year where we weren't seeing as many people with our borders closed, but with the borders opening up and the sun and the wind ready to go, we're really looking forward to welcoming back. I think there's still a couple of spots left in January and February, and maybe a couple in March in these clinics. And these are guys who are basically, you know, legend in every windsurfing magazine, both Peter Hart and Gem Hall, and they kind of, you know, invite you into a different world and create a community, which a lot of people will then follow them to different destinations like Baja or Mauritius, or, you know, Greece and Rhodes and many other places, you know, down to Brazil as well too, where you can create this family that basically is united by their love for outdoor fun. And they follow these two individuals all over the world, just learning new things and, you know, swapping stories and enjoying this thing called life. You know, it's finite and we have to maximize that fun. So this is just another opportunity to get invited into a kind of more structured surrounding. And the clinics will run for about a week at a time. And they also, like, you know, incorporate different parts of Tobago and the food and the fun and the rum punch and everything else that is a big part of the whole experience here in Tobago. So Stephen, let's crack on to the next one. So, you know, this is a very terrible representation of what I get to see every single day. So for these of you in a cubicle, this is what my cubicle view looks like. And we invite you to work from Tobago. We have lovely seating areas that look out into this beautiful, beautiful facade. And in the really top corner, you'll see a little red arrow, and that's the Bon Accord Lagoon. So our location is in that beach right in the middle right there, and we take a paddle to our nighttime activities, which have become almost world famous, where we venture out on kayaks and stand-up paddle boards to the Bon Accord Lagoon, which is, you can see where that arrow points in the back there. And that lagoon is completely sheltered. It's surrounded by mangrove swamp. The mangroves are, you know, kind of a breeding ground for lots of different birds and different species also under the water that come into this world right there. And so it's teeming with life, both in the day and in the night. But in night, as you know, there's a lot of species that get a little bit more relaxed with a lot less, you know, kind of activity going on around them. So we go out there with no engine noise, and we kind of immerse ourselves into their environment. And the water, when you touch it, actually, you know, kind of, you know, comes to life with this bioluminescent plankton, which is called dinoflagellates. And when you basically, you know, stimulate or touch the water in any way, you know, they basically, you know, throw out this amazing blue, white, and green color that's like, you know, fireworks that's happening under the water. And even the fish and the rays that might, you know, gently, you know, pass you, anything that kind of moves in this area will create this light. And so you feel almost like you're in this cosmic dream where, you know, like I said, shooting stars and fireworks are actually happening right under you. And it's just something that's absolutely different. And you can kind of describe it in 1,000 ways, but until you're actually in it, you just can't understand how this is happening. And it's just something just absolutely amazing. And you can read more about it on TripAdvisor, at Radical Sports Tobago, or Stand Up Paddle Tobago, where we have hundreds of reviews of people trying their best to describe what they've just been in. And you know, it's definitely something that is different. And I can take questions. It takes us about 2 hours to go on the adventure, and a lot of it we're kind of just circling that back area. And then at the end, of course, because it doesn't film so well, we have to take this picture so that you guys can let your friends know what you just did, and the smiles can kind of, you know, give you a little sense of the success in the adventure and the yearning to go and tell all their friends, hey, dude, you got to go do this. Because it really is something that's holistic and also just special, and something that you'll remember forever. So Steve, let's crack on the next one. So that's another picture of kind of the view that you would have on the way to the lagoon, probably in reverse because the sun would be setting behind us. But it's always, I always, you know, kind of stop and say, guys, I know we're on the way to the adventure, but turn around and take a look at what nature is giving you right now. And, you know, Tobago is one of those places that, you know, you really have to stop and smell the roses, not just in one bed, but all over the island. And it keeps surprising me on a daily basis. That's why I could live in many places, but there's no place like home, because it just, you know, it continues to provide these amazing backdrops and front drops everywhere that you go. So let's click the next one there, Steve. And here's a little video just showing you about the adventure. And this is us. This is me jumping in the water. And as you can see, every time I move, I illuminate. And there's no batteries included. There's no Wi-Fi. There's no mechanical things. It's just nature in its awe. And although we did have an engine in that picture, it's because we were taking the National Geographic guys out, and they had very expensive cameras that, of course, would not do so well if they kind of took a dip like I was in this picture right here. So just absolutely something under the stars to enjoy. And let's click over to the next one there, Stephen. And yeah, so there's lots of new activities coming. So every year we're kind of adding to the activities that we have. One of the things that's not in these slides is we have a lovely half pipe skateboard ramp, which we have open to the public. And so we invite a lot of kids to come and, you know, have a skate in the back of the area that we have there. And the adults are a little timid maybe about getting on a skateboard on a half pipe, but we do have kind of a training bar that they can hold on to and, you know, experience a little bit of that activity as well. And another one of the things that we're adding, keeping in line with the green activities that we already do have, are what we're calling the Radical One-Wheel Adventures. And Eamon has, you know, an amazing activity that goes through some of Tobago's backdrops. But these are electronic vehicles that simulate somewhat like surfing. Basically you can take them off-road, you can take them on beaches, and go through a lot of Tobago's area as well too. While not emitting any petrol or anything like that, you're kind of using the electricity and basically these things to kind of navigate your way through fun adventures. So we hope to be introducing this in about 2 or 3 months. And we're going through the beta testing probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But it's just another thing that we hope to add, and we'll actually have training areas behind the shop. And then for a little bit more of the adventure seekers, we will be going through some of the paths around Tobago and trails to enjoy something, you know, different while taking in a lot of that nature that'll be all around us. So super excited to continue to add and actually add something outside of the water, but, you know, staying to a lot of our surfing kind of, you know, backdrop or heritage that we've always had at Radical Sports. So I think that's most of the slides that we've got, Steve. I mean, maybe you can click over and let me know.
No, that's it. That's it. The next one is the video, I believe.
So yeah, so guys, you know, looking forward, you know, have on any of these sporting activities as well too. One of the things that we didn't have a thing for was definitely kayaks. And kayaks we do where they weigh about 12 to 14 pounds, and we can put those into areas where kids at, you know, 4 to 5 years old can already get on. My kids are only 4 years old and 2 years old, and they've also had some fun with it, with mom and dad maybe hanging around not too far away. But definitely, you know, something for everybody right here at Pigeon Point in Tobago. And so super excited to hear if you guys have questions now or even questions later. But we're really excited to welcome you guys back. And as you remember in Eamon's first picture or second picture, you know, there are a lot of guys who had a lot of smiles, but the biggest smile is the guy who was taking you on the adventure. And usually people think that I'm on some sort of stimulus, but I just love what I do, and I can't wait to see you soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Brett. That was wonderful. Absolutely brilliant. Sarah, do we have any questions? A couple of questions before I end the video?
Because I think you covered literally everything.
Oh, wow. You've done struck.
Nothing.
They've done struck the agents. Right.
One thing I can add, because it was a question that some of them asked of Eamon as well too, is that we're working with a lot of tour operators in the UK and Germany. We've started our own tour company actually to kind of help out with the North American traffic as well too. So you can access us through the website at radicalsportstobago.com, and there's a contact us, and all the other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram as well too. But we also have tour operator rates. for those of you who are booking kind of all-inclusive adventures. So you can also reach out to us and we can send you the pricing structures so that you can see how tour operators can also benefit from these kind of setups already. You know, any further questions that you guys have outside of this, you can also reach us either on email or on the contact through WhatsApp, and we're happy to walk you through the process so that everybody is winning when we send people down to Tobago.
Excellent. Thank you, Brett. So just before I put on the video, I just want you guys to know there'll be a at the second half of the video is introducing some of the smaller properties, or actually some large properties, but a lot of the smaller and more boutique properties that we have in Tobago. And as soon as the video completes and finishes, Kay, I'd like you to join and we will proceed with your presentation. So this is a goodbye from Brett and Radical Sports, and then a hello to Kay, Native Abode. Okay, on with the video. Oops. Goodbye. Sorry, stop it.
Hey guys, this is Brett and Alex from Radical Sports. Come and see a little bit of our paradise this coming winter. She came here as a client, now this is home. Mi casa, su casa. See you on the water.
Bis bald!
Wonderful. Okay, Kay.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you may be at this point in time. I think my colleagues did a wonderful job in exposing Tobago to us all from the perspective of adventure on the outdoors, in the activities. And what I want to do for a short while is to also share the adventure of Tobago from the perspective of the accommodation. And what we are saying in our Small Properties Association, which is a compilation of different smaller properties than the one we were just presented with at the end of Brett's presentation, those facilities that are quaint, under 10-room units, and that are more embedded in the heart of the Tobago communities. Therefore, we like to promote the adventure of accommodations as living Tobago, to love Tobago, that entire experience. So next slide, please, Stephen. And we are saying one of the best adventure for interacting with Destination Tobago is to experience the real Tobago. And how can we do that? We therefore invite you to come and be one of us and experience Tobago like a Tobagonian, like we who live here on a day-to-day basis would interact with Tobago. On one side of the screen, you'd see a little write-up that says, experience the real Tobago. This is what it's all about. For our visitors and our guests to experience Tobago at its heart, we at the Small Property Units are inviting our guests to come and live with us the way we live. So we are asking you to come and stay in quaint homely abodes, in quaint tropical gardens that are nestled within the lush vegetation of a nature reserve, or by staying in quaint cottages and apartments that give you fantastic ocean views when you're in Charlottesville. So we're asking you to come and stay in places that we who live here will normally abode in. We're asking you to come and live like us. And what we mean when we say come and live like us, we're asking you to interact with the community as we as Tobagonians interact. There's a free and peaceful spirit that we normally engage in the community, a kind of tight-knit appreciation for our fellow Tobagonians. And we are inviting our visitors to come and share that experience of community living, of being one with not being seen just as a visitor, but being embraced as a Tobagonian. We would like to say a Tobagonian by birth, by both. Because you were not born here, you may not be a citizen, but because we embrace you into our arms, we consider you an honorary Tobagonian. We are also inviting you as part of the adventure to come and eat like us. And you would have seen in Brett's presentation, folks are having a good old time sampling some of the foods that are indigenous to Tobago. So we are asking our visitors to treat their taste buds to the luscious food and sampling that is from Tobago. Enjoy a tasty pilau, which is like a pilaf or a jambalaya, as our American friends would know it, but it is typical Tobago. Enjoy our coconut stews, which is our various meats cooked down in a coconut sauce, as we like to say. You can't have a good stew without some coconut milk being placed in that and having that rich flavor come through in the taste. We are asking you to enjoy typical local breakfast. We know you come from various metropolitan areas, but that we want when you are here in Tobago that you are exposed to true Tobago cuisine, a fry bake, a coconut bake, a fried fish, our saltfish bull job, our chocolate tea. I'm saying it and I can actually smell it, so that when you leave, you would have said, I had a true taste of Tobago. And our typical Sunday lunch, where you would normally have an array of small dishes, from stewed peas to callaloo to a mixed rice to baked chicken. Sunday was one of the days traditionally that you had more or less a feast spread out before you. So come, eat like us, drink like us, drink what we drink. Brett mentioned, I think, the rum punch, those famous lime juice, our Morbi, local, indigenous, true Tobago flavor. And we also ask you to come and experience some of the activities that were traditional to our ancestors. Activities like pulling seine on the beach, where you get to interact with the local fishermen, especially in the Castara area. And you get to actually eat from the catch you would have made of the day. We ask you to, during our heritage season, especially during the July, August time and in Charlottesville, there is this activity on a traditional equipment known as the batty mill, which is used to squeeze cane juice out of the cane plant that our ancestors would have done years ago. So you get to see that whole traditional interaction, as well as dancing the cocoa that we are famous for with our chocolates. So that we are asking you to experience life as we have experienced it. But we're also asking you to have fun like we have fun, to lime, or that phrase that we like to use in Tobago a lot, to lime like us. And in order to lime like us, it means that you have to appreciate a very sights and attraction that Brett and Eamon has so ably shown to you. We also want you to experience our river lines, our Argyle waterfalls. We want to experience our tours around the island, our renowned rainforest, the largest brain coral in the Speyside area. So experience that island vibes that is Sunday school. So that in all we're asking you, part of the adventure of engaging with Destination Tobago is experiencing it as a Tobagonian. If you look on the other side of the presentation, you'd see a bottle of what I like to call that quaint and unique and authentic offering that Tobago has to offer at that level. You see a compilation of the activities, the cuisine, the accommodation, and the very nature itself. So what we are saying is, part of the adventure of being in Destination Tobago is sampling Tobago as you would sample a fine bottle of wine or a fine bottle of champagne. Next slide, please, Stephen. So if I'm to summarize that whole discourse I just presented, we're asking you to come and live with us and come and live like us by staying in our homely village abodes where you can look out on a veranda and see what's happening in the community, by staying in tropical garden villas that are nestled within the lush vegetations that we have, and by staying in enchanting ocean view apartments and cottages that gives you a wonderful view of the sunset and the ocean. Come eat like us, work like us, and lime like us, treating your taste bud to the cuisine that is quintessential Tobago. Experience our quaint activities that our ancestors used to engage in, and appreciate the unique sights and attractions that we have to offer. Next slide, please. It's all about having an experience with Tobago that gets at the heart of what Tobago is. So doing it this way, you are exposed to the sights, the sounds, the nuances of Tobago life in the communities, in the villages, and on the island as a whole. It's all about that appreciation of the island in its raw sense. And for us, that is part of the adventure. You can engage in this adventure by actually planning your own authentic vacation experience, where you can get to choose from the array of small properties that are located all around Tobago. So you can either book an individual property in a specific location, or you can be adventurous enough to book several different properties that are spread around the island. So you can, as it were, community hub or village hub to see Tobago at its best. Some of our accommodations do provide probably a meal, and especially breakfast, because we have an range of bed and breakfast type facilities, but we also have self-contained apartments that folks will handle their own breakfast. But because there are a lot of eateries around the area, you don't have to go too far to get the cuisine that is Tobago. We also have a couple of tour guides within our association, and it is their products that introduces the outdoor activities of Tobago to our guests. So whether it be island tours, the rainfall excursion, or historic and cultural tours, including snorkeling and some of the areas that Brett and Eamon would have spoken about, you can have all of that exposed to you. So for more information on that, you can check out our website, tobagobnbs.com. I just would like to indicate that at the moment we are doing some updates to our website because we have recently had a lot of folks join into the association recently, especially with the upgrade activities that we have been doing with our plants during this COVID period. So we are at least spreading out the plant a bit. Next slide, please. Also, collaboration is one of the key things we do at the association. It's not just about us as accommodation, properties and tour guides. It's also about us interacting with our other stakeholders. And one such stakeholder that we are working hand in hand with to create some special holiday packages that are 1 week and 2 week in length. We're working with Ted Sunshine, one of our destination marketing companies, to be able to package a more structured type of holiday experience for those who prefer that level of engagement, so that you will be exposed to planned excursion during your time and a kind of more guided greetings and interactions. But it also leaves you room to do exploration on your own. So you would not just be bombarded by what we want to show you, but you also have the opportunity to determine some of the things that you want to get done during your stay with us, so that we have those combination of activities. And our destination company would be the one handling those sort of things. So you have a contact for Ted Sunshine. But in the meantime, for further engagement, you can do it through the association by either contacting me personally at Native Abode, stay@nativeabode.com, or going through our website and picking up the contact information there and going forward. Next slide, please. So all in all, we are inviting our guests, and we are inviting and we are asking you to engage your prospective client to the adventure of Destination Tobago from the perspective of being an honorary Tobagonian. So we look forward to welcoming you and to having you be one of us once the borders and once everything goes back to a certain state of normalcy. So guys, welcome to Tobago, and we're looking forward to having you with us. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Kay. That was wonderful. Again, absolutely fantastic. Just to add to what Kay has said, and I know this is a question that came up last month's presentation, so before Sarah has a chance to give me any questions that we have built up. One of the questions often asked is how agents can actually book. You've given your direct contact details, but for agents used to booking via their regional or their local tour operators, for any US or Canada located agents, we know that Expedia do hold a lot of the smaller properties on their portfolio, and obviously that works well for the UK agents as well, and Travel Pack as well. Again, they have a lot of the smaller properties on their portfolio. So those are just two operators or two bed bank operators who can provide the opportunities for you. Sarah, do we have any questions at all?
Yeah, we didn't. It was exactly that. Is there a bookable website or a list of hotels that are B&B that also offer like the commissions?
Right. Yes. So, well, it would be Travel Pack, sorry, and Expedia. There you go. I apologise for answering that before you asked.
So for North American agents, they normally book directly with the hotels. So right. Is the website bookable? Is there a bookable website, or?
That I think would have to be Expedia. I mean, whether Kay has any more information
Whereas you can do individual bookings to some of the property, most of our properties are indeed listed on Expedia, and that may be a more comfortable way for our agents to do business. So I would not give the extra layer.
Yes.
I think Expedia and those sites that you're familiar with.
Yeah, they pay commission as well.
Yes,
yeah,
precisely.
excellent. Yeah, so that would probably be the easiest and safest way. Any other questions, Sarah?
Yeah, for people that are arriving into Tobago, being fully vaccinated can it be a mix of vaccinations, for example, AstraZeneca and Pfizer, or Johnson and Johnson?
Right. For those technical questions, please refer to the Tobago Beyond travel advisory, because it does get into more detail. I didn't want to spend too much time going into the minutiae at the beginning of the presentation, because I wanted to get to these guys and speak to these. But so investigate via the tobagobeyond.com and the travel advisory, which is literally right at the very top. There's a button right at the top. Have a look in there. If I remember rightly, there is details with regards to the different types of vaccinations and what is accepted, what isn't accepted. But please explore, and the information, all the information you could possibly want regarding inoculations, vaccinations, and entry protocols are on, and sorry, the most up-to-date information is going to be on that website.
Super. And last question from Jennifer: is there do we have a US specialist program like what we've got for the UK specialist programs?
I was about to start talking about those. At the present moment in time, there isn't one. But and I'm not actually sure, well, I'm not sure how much information I can give. There are plans afoot. Okay, it's probably the best way of describing it. It's not for me to announce it, because obviously my remit is the UK market. But there are plans afoot for training programs and reward programs for our North American cousins. And as you've just brought that up as a question, this is a reminder that all agents, regardless of where you are, you can do the Tobago 101 Specialist online training program. Yes, we've spoken for the last hour all about the adventure elements in Tobago. The online specialist, that training program, it's not too long, it's not too big. It does go into the nature and other elements, diving, all sorts of things to do with Tobago. So yes, you'll learn a lot about Tobago by doing that online training program. As I said, it doesn't take long and it's completely free. And also for you guys, agents who are actually booking, well, I have noticed that a few bookings are starting to come in. The destination is, technically speaking, open, but I see a few bookings coming in for this winter season going into next year. If you do any bookings, please record them on the Tobago Rewards program. We do have a rewards program for all agents who make reservations. As we've spoken a lot about some of the smaller properties today, if you find when you go into Tobago Rewards, the small property that you are wanting to book is not on there, please drop me an email. My email address is up there, and we can easily add any properties as we wish. So yes, please, use these links. The training program is comprehensive, and the rewards program is very rewarding.
Super. Just one last question. I presume this is the same as everywhere else in the world. Are all hotel staff vaccinated, as the tour guides, coaches, etc.? I think this is pretty standard COVID protocol.
I think this is pretty much a standard thing across the board. Tobago took a lead early last year with the safe travel stamps, which I believe is part and parcel in protocols within hotels and ground handlers and excursion operators. And yes, there is a comprehensive vaccination program taking part across Tobago, and of course Trinidad as well. So yes, the answer would be very positive, that I would imagine staff will have to be or will be vaccinated, and that incorporates hotels as well as ground experiences as well.
Super. And last but not least, will you be able to, when you send out a follow-up to everybody, will you be able to provide a copy of the presentation? Would you be able
will
to
they be able to do what, sorry?
A copy of the presentation? Would you just
the full presentation? Well, I try, and it's a huge file, so I probably try not to do that. I can do links to the video, content that we have, so I can provide links for those.
Okay.
The full presentation would be a little bit more difficult for me to
put it into Dropbox and put the link on, and then people can go and download it as and when they want it.
Yes, we could do that. Yes, that wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem.
Super. Right, perfect. I'm going to leave the questions there now because I'm conscious of the time. So
right, excellent.
Thank you to Stephen, Kay, Manuela, Eamon and Brett. It's been brilliant. Your presentations were really, really good. So thank you.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just to finish off, if we have no more questions and no more comments, just as I did last month, Sarah, I just want to finish off with, it's a quick 2-minute, guess what the next theme is going to be. I believe the dates get set for the 12th of October. So agents, guys, put that in your diary. That's going to be the next Discover Tobago. But my next slide is basically a 2-minute video just to finish off the presentation. So I won't come back after the video, and it will just give you a little bit of a hint of what next month's presentation is all about. So
okay, super.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for listening. And look out for our follow-up very soon. Okay.
Yeah, good job, Stephen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey guys, great job.
Thank you, and see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Fun.